What's up, Freebirds? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason, and we are upgrading the stock wheel Vise on this Harbor Freight lift to this wheel Chock by K&L Supply, and that starts right now. Alright guys, before we actually get into installing them, I just want to point out a couple differences between the two styles of Vises slash wheel Chocks. This is a wheel Vise, which comes obviously stock with the Harbor Freight motorcycle lift. And this is typically one that are usually stock in most motorcycle lifts when you buy them professional, non-professional, whatever you want to call it. And what it's meant for is that you roll the bike up and there's usually a flat piece of metal to stop the front tire from going over. Right here. So tire rolls up, stops here. And then you would reach down, or you would have someone else as you get the bike on here, squeeze the tire down, and then you obviously would be able to step off your bike or be able to let go of the bike to get your straps down. And it's fine. Most people can do it by themselves after some practicing, but it doesn't make it the easiest by yourself. So that's why I actually looked at doing the wheel Chock. I had a hard time trying to figure out which way I wanted to go with it, and I just went right to the top of the motorcycle lift companies, which is K&L Supply. This is probably overdoing it for this lift as far as wheel Chock. You can buy an inexpensive one, a wheel Chock like this from Harbor Freight. It's a lot thinner. There's nothing really wrong with it. A bunch of people use them as it is, but I wanted something that was just beefy, that was gonna be on this lift, that can essentially adapt to any tire or wheel size that's on there. Now this one in particular is gonna set on some rails, and the rails will allow it to actually move back and forth, or when there's a scissor lift pushing the bike up, you can actually remove it. So that's another reason why I wanted to go with this. It had a little more versatility into actually using it over the other wheel Chocks that essentially once you roll into them, that's it. Like you're pretty much stationary. Or if the bike is longer or shorter, I'm able to bring out the Chock itself out to here. And there's the rails that have to go on. In order to get this to fit, that's the fun part. It's universal. So we had to figure out a way to adapt and get this onto the lift itself. There's a rail system, like I said earlier, that this runs on that allows it to move back and forth and holds it in place. Well, that rail system has to be bolted, obviously, to the lift, and there's two bars underneath this lift that are run parallel that are just wide enough as the same distance of the rails between the two. So, I can either do one or two things. I can either, one, turn it, or two, adapt it to the lift and figure out how to make a custom way into it, which is what we did. Bam! Took the rail system that's on here and welded right to this plate. What this plate is, it's as wide as the actual lift itself. The holes that you would originally drill into the lift that would hold this down, I welded at each spot and extended the holes to bolt this plate down. So we are now wider than the bars that are below it in order to get this to actually fit. Let's get it bolted down. Put together. Here's a better shot of the rails welded to the plate that I adapted. I already pre-drilled, like I said, the holes into the lift as well. Save time on there, so let's get to it. Alright, with our supporting bolts all locked down, let's throw the wheel Chock on. Just like that. Good to go. Now, the part I was also saying that you can adjust to different tires and wheel lengths. One, the back flip is the easy pin that pulls out here. You can adjust that to the distance of a short tire to a wider tire. And as well, if you're on the lift and you need to bring it out, you can fully move it out here and gives you that availability to do that. And one other reason why I like this is that on this particular wheel Chock is that if you are locked in doing a scissor lift, it's typically pretty hard to do your front end lift or remove a tire when you have it in a wheel Chock right up front. So what you can do is after it's locked in and you have a scissor lift, lifting up the bike, you can go a little bit higher and then you can actually remove the lift or the wheel Chock itself. All right, let's demonstrate. Let's get that FXR on. rock it back and forth, make sure it's snug in there, and she's good to go. Now, of course, you're gonna stay on here. You really need straps. This is just a great way, as you can see, I got it on the lift myself. I can throw straps on here without having to, try to balance this thing really badly in order to get it to work. So now I'm gonna release it and get it off. Pump it back, just like that. And she's off the lift. All right, the K&L Supply wheel chuck on the Harbor Freight motorcycle lift modification. As you can see, it worked out great for my motorcycle. Is it overkill? Probably. There are other wheel chucks that are much easier to install on here, but I wanted to do something fun, something a little bit different. Worked out great for me. If you're interested, obviously you can DM my Instagram below. And if you made it all the way through, I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button, tap that like, leave a comment below and tell me what you think. And for those that have already subscribed, thank you. And as always, stay free, and I'll catch you guys later.